I did some original study. And I counted the amount of verses in the Gospel of Mark that have directly to do with the miracle of Jesus.
I izbrojio sam koliko se stihova u Markovom evanđelju direktno odnosi na čudesa.
And did a percentage based on how many verses are in the Gospel.
I izračunao sam postotak na temelju toga koliko ima stihova u samom evanđelju po Marku.
And if you cut out all the miracles of Jesus in the Gospel of Mark,
ako izbacite sva čudesa Isusa Krista iz evanđelja po Marku,
you cut out 20.5% of the Gospel.
Dakle, izbacili ste 20,5% evanđelja.
One of 5 parts you just ripped off. You know, I didn't even include that. Yeah, so it'd be bigger if you included that. Yeah.
Dakle, veći dio evanđelja ste izbacili.
Now, in the other Gospels, it's not quite as high a number. Mark's the most dramatic.
U drugim evanđeljima nije toliko velik broj, zato što je Marko najdramatičniji.
The other ones on average are 12.88% of the average of all 4 Gospels would be lost if the specific miracles were cut out.
Dakle, ostala evanđelja imaju neki manji postotak, 12,8%.
This doesn't include verses that say, and he did many other miracles
I
like
to ne
this.
uključuje stihove i učinio još mnoga čudesa.
Or at the end of the Gospel of John, where it says if all the things he did were written down, it would probably fill up all the books of the world.
Ili ono što Ivan kaže na kraju svog evanđelja, da su sva čudesa prebrojana koje je Isus učinio, ne bi stavili u knjige cijelog svijeta.
Doesn't include that.
Dakle, to nije uključeno u ovaj postotak.
So his miracles were even more than these percentages are shown.
Dakle, njegova čudesa su puno više nego postotak, ovaj postotak.
So in summary,
U zaključku,
if you take away the miracles of Jesus, you've completely changed the Gospels.
ako izuzmete Isusova čudesa iz evanđelja, vi ste potpuno promijenili evanđelje.
Their overall message
Jer one su njihova poruka,
and their presentation of who Jesus is.
dakle, promijenili ste i njihovu poruku i ono ko Isus uistinu jeste.
I can repeat that. That's kind of important, maybe. Yeah. If you take away the miracles of Jesus, you've completely changed the Gospels.
Dakle, ako izuzmete čudesa iz Isusovog života, vi ste potpuno promijenili evanđelje.
Their overall message
Potpuno ste promijenili sveobuhvatnu poruku
and their presentation of who Jesus is.
i ono tko Isus uistinu jeste.
Therefore, it's no insignificant matter
Zbog toga nije od male značajnosti
to dismiss the miracles of Jesus or say that they did not occur.
ako kažemo da se čudesa nisu dogodila ili da nisu toliko važna.
Craig Keener, who is considered by most to be a serious evangelical scholar,
Znači, Kiner koji je jedan od poznatih evanđelskih akademika, skolastika,
wrote 2 very large tomes on the miracles of Jesus.
napisao je knjigu od 2 toma velika o Isusovim čudesima.
And he says the following.
I on kaže sljedeće.
Miracles characterize Jesus's historical activity no less than his teaching and prophetic activities. His miracles characterized him no less than his teaching or other ministry.
Dakle, njegova čudesa govore o njegovom karakteru puno više nego njegova učenja i njegova služba.
They're at least equal to the rest of what he said and
Oni
did.
su, ako ništa drugo, barem jednako vrijedni sa svim ostalim, što je činio i što je govorio.
Now, having said all that, I want to now, surprisingly maybe,
Rekavši sve ovo, želim vas možda malo i iznenađujuće.
To actually define what is a miracle.
Želim govoriti o tome što zapravo jesu čudesa.
Because we use the term miracle loosely, at least as an American and people in Ukraine, I'm not sure as much as Croatians, but...
Jer složit ćete se, pa i mi u Hrvatskoj koristimo čudo za sve i svašta. Isto kao i oni u SAD i Ukrajini.
Did you see that score in soccer? That was a miracle shot.
Jeste vidio ovaj gol, to je bilo čudo jedno.
Or you're talking on the phone, the parking lot is so full. This is more from Los Angeles, right?
Evo jedna iz Los Angelesa.
There's not a spot in this whole place at the mall to park, for example.
Parking je apsolutno pun, nema ni jednog mjesta.
I prayed,
Molio sam se.
and a car pulled out. It was a miracle.
I odmah je neki auto izašao i evo ti svog mjesta čudo.
Is that a miracle if the car pulls out?
Je li to čudo ako je...
Los Angeles.
Maybe it...
Je li to čudo?
Možemo reći da je čudesno.
Čudesa. Brother, Vienna is worse.
I'm trying to tease that out. Sometimes people will say they've discovered the scientists have discovered an amazing new drug. It's a miracle drug.
Ili kažu, ne znam, znanstvenici i doktori su došli do novog lijeka i to je ono čudo jedno.
I've been waiting for him to call or her to call, and finally they did. That's a miracle.
I čekao sam da me nazovu za kupnju kuće i evo, baš su zvali čudo.
Is receiving a phone call a miracle?
Je li dobiti poziv čudo?
So we use the term, it's kind of like the term love. You know, I love ice cream, I love my wife, I love my church,
Dakle, isto kao
I love a sunny day. You know, is that all the same? No.
Kao što govorimo sa riječju ljubav ili voljenje. Pa volim auto, volim sladoled od jagode, volim svoju ženu, volim sve što vole mladi.
So we need to define more carefully what a miracle is. I would reject the idea that scoring a goal, even an amazing one, is a miracle.
Dakle, trebamo definirati te pojmove. Čak ni taj gol koji je postignut, ako je bio fenomenalan gol, nije čudo.
Discovering a new drug, as important as that might be in an area that never has been discovered, is not a miracle.
Otkriće novog lijeka koji nije prije postojao nije čudo.
Even being from Los Angeles, if a car pulls out after many minutes of driving around, that's not a miracle.
Čak i pronalazak parkinga u Los Angelesu kada odjednom vidite prazno mjesto nije čudo.
A miracle is something that is supernatural and that natural explanation doesn't explain.
Dakle, čudo je nešto nadprirodno što prirodno, naravno, normalno se ne može objasniti.
Something that goes against the normal laws of life can be considered a miracle.
Nešto što ide protiv naravnih ili prirodnih zakonitosti može se smatrati nadnaravnim.
C.S. Lewis, I don't quote him very often, but I am now.
C.S. Lewis, kojeg profesor ne citira često, ali sad će ga citirati.
He wrote a book called Miracles.
Napisao je knjigu koja se zove Čudesa.
And he defined a miracle as an interference with nature by a supernatural power.
I on je nazvao da je čudo kada se nadprirodna snaga umiješa u prirodno. Ili nadnaravno se umiješa u naravno.
So all those examples I gave have a natural explanation.
Dakle, sve ovi primjeri koje smo govorili o golu, o lijekovima, o parkingu, imaju nekakvo prirodno objašnjenje. Normalno, naravno objašnjenje.
So they're not miracles.
Dakle, nisu čudesa, nije ništa nadprirodno.
But that doesn't mean that wasn't an amazing answer to prayer, that I drove around at the soccer game for an hour and prayed and then the spot opened up, for example.
Ali to nije to ne možemo reći da to nije možda odgovor na molitvu, jer dok sam kružio oko stadiona, tražeći parking, molio sam se i evo, baš jedan auto ispred mene izlazi i ima mjesta.
Sometimes we play down the importance of providence and only play up a literal miracle.
Ono što često činimo je zaboravljamo na Božju providnost i usprkos ili na uštrb tome mi uzdižemo nadprirodno.
We lose a lot if we do that.
I puno gubimo ako to činimo.
Because God doesn't do miracles very often.
Jer Bog ne čini čudesa i jako često.
Sometimes he does, like saving a person.
Nekad on čini, na
That's supernatural.
kada spasi čovjeka, to je nadnaravno djelo.
Sometimes he does miraculously heal people through prayer, not through a healer.
Ponekad on čudesno ozdravi čovjeka ne kroz čudotvorca, nego zbog molitve.
But more often, God works through providence.
Ali najčešće Bog djeluje po providnosti.
And this is where people who are charismatics, or even ourselves, will lose out on something very important if we don't see God working through providence.
I tu karizmatici, a ponekad i mi, gubimo mnogo toga ako ne vidimo Božje djelovanje kroz providnost.
If we only see God in a miracle, then we're losing out on how He works in everyday life through His providence to work out His will.
Ako samo vidimo Boga kao nekog ko radi čudesa i zapostavimo njegovu djelovanje, njegovu providnost, onda gubimo velik dio.
Providence is when God uses the natural things of the world, but orders them in such a way as to show us His grace or His goodness or to answer a prayer.
Dakle, providnost je kada Bog koristi prirodne, naravne pojave na takav način ili u takvom skladu, u takvo vrijeme da ono što on postiže pokazuje njegovu milost, njegovu dobrotu, njegovu ljubav.
And if we look for the hand of God in ordering our life,
I kada gledamo ili želimo vidjeti Božju ruku u našem životu,
then we will be seeing His goodness and have something to be thankful for and rejoice in much more.
dakle, ako vidimo njegovu ruku u toj providnosti, bit ćemo mnogo zahvalni njemu, zato što vidimo kako djeluje u našem životu.
So, know what the definition of a miracle is.
Dakle, definicija čudesa, to smo sad.
Try to be more exact in what is a miracle and what you call maybe providence
Budite precizni
or something amazing.
oko toga što je čudo, a što je Božje djelovanje kroz naravne pojave, odnosno providnost.
And thank the Lord, try to have more of a tendency to be thankful for God's working in His providence, which is a huge part of our life and should bring us much joy as we rejoice in Him, working through natural happenings that He's ordering.
I budite zahvalni kada vidite Božju ruku u providnosti. To će nas dovesti do toga da budemo i radosni, da se više oslanjamo na njega, jer ćemo vidjeti da on doista djeluje u našim životima.
And don't lose that big part of our lives of seeing God's hand in providence.
Nemojte izgubiti taj važan i velik dio našeg života gdje Bog po svojoj providnosti djeluje.
This is also God,
To je isto Bog.
as much as a miracle would
Baš
be.
kao i čudo
That's
koje
how,
bi se moglo dogoditi.
that's how He normally works.
Jer on tako normalno radi, ne po providnosti.
If we only wait for a miracle, we're going to lose a lot.
Ako samo čekamo na čudo, onda ćemo puno toga izgubiti.
Now, I've given a discussion and application of what a miracle is and what providence is.
Dakle, sad sam vam ukratko rekao koja je razlika između providnosti i čuda.
But now I want to look at some of the terms of miracle in the Bible.
Ali sada ćemo pogledati nekoliko različitih riječi koje se koriste za opisivanje čuda u Bibliji.
Number one, the top is the English transliteration of Greek words underneath it in case somebody's like, oh yeah, I know the Greek letters or whatever.
Da, znači gore je transliteracija na engleski jezik, dok dolje imate grčki, vi koji znate grčki.
So there's four main words in the Bible.
Dakle, postoje 4 ključne značajne riječi kojima se upisuju čudesa u grčkom jeziku.
First one is teras,
Prva je teras,
which is usually translated a wonder or a marvel.
koja se tipično prevodi kao čudo ili nešto što je zapanjujuće ili iznenađujuće.
One example is Mark 13:22.
Jedan primjer je Marko 13:22.
And this emphasizes the effect of the miracle on the observer. They're like amazed.
Ova riječ se fokusira i odnosi na utjecaj na promatrača.
The second word,
Sljedeća riječ je,
you maybe heard people every once in a while even say so in a sermon.
vjerojatno ste čuli da tu riječ spominju i neki u propovjedima često, a to je riječ dunamis.
Power, it's translated as power, might, or
Moć
strength.
ili snaga.
And many verses use this. For example, Mark 5:30.
Marko 5:30 je jedan od primjera gdje se ta riječ nalazi.
A third term,
Treća riječ, treći termin
Semeion.
je semeion.
And John, the Gospel of John especially uses this term to talk about 7 or 8, people kind of debate that, signs, miracle signs that Jesus did in his ministry.
I tipično možete pronaći ovu riječ u Ivanovom evanđelju gdje se spominje 7 do 8 puta kada on objašnjava o čudesima koja je on učinio.
And it's translated as sign, as I said,
Dakle, prevodi se kao znak,
maybe a token. It's a pretty weird word, yeah.
znak ili pokazatelj,
Or an indicator.
indikator.
And that's what a sign does, it indicates pointing to something.
Dakle, on nas usmjerava ka nečemu, on pokazuje na nešto, poput znaka nekako.
Most obvious is if you're trying to get to Zagreb and you don't have your GPS, you look for the sign that points you that way.
Na primjer, ako idete u Zagreb, a nemate GPS, onda tražite znakovlje, prometno znakovlje kako biste znali doći do Zagreba.
But the sign isn't the main thing, its meaning of what it points to is the main thing.
Ali to znakovlje na cesti nije samo po sebi nešto, već ono za čega nas to znakovlje upućuje.
So we shouldn't fall in love with the sign and go hug it. Oh, Zagreb sign. No, you want to get to Zagreb, so you're just using that to get to the meaning, to the place.
Znači, nitko neće grliti znak gdje piše Zagreb 60 km, o Zagrebe, nego idemo u tom smjeru da dođemo do samoga grada.
It sounds funny, right? Of course, who's going to hug a sign? I don't know why he pointed at you.
He's a sign.
Sarah's a sign, but that's a different Sarah. So, what is the point I'm trying to make here?
Što vam želim zapravo reći?
Sometimes people can be so enthralled with the gift of a miracle that they're all into miracles more than they are into their purpose was to point to Jesus.
Često su ljudi toliko usmjereni prema čudesu, prema tom znakovlju, toliko su zabezeknuti njime, toliko su očarani njime da zaborave na što taj znak upućuje.
And the signs of Jesus' miracles were given so that people would believe that he is the Son of God.
A znakovi pokazatelji su dani kako bi ljudi vjerovali da je Isus uistinu Sin Božji.
And that's exactly what John says at the end of his gospel.
I to je ono što sam Ivan kaže na kraju svog evanđelja.
John 20, verse 30 and 31.
Ivan 20, 30 i 31. Isus doduše učini mnoge druge znake pred svojim učenicima koji nisu zapisani u ovoj knjizi. A ovi su zapisani da uzvjerujete. Isus je Krist, Sin Božji, te da vjerujući imate život u imenu njegovu.
Sign is there to point to Jesus that we believe that He's the Son of God and believing He would have life.
Dakle, znak je tamo da bismo vjerovali da je Isus Krist, Sin Božji, i da vjerujući u njega imamo vječni život.
Number 4, Greek word ergon,
Četvrta riječ koja se koristi je ergon.
used a little bit more infrequently, means a deed, an action, or a work.
Ona tipično znači djelo, akcija ili rad. Ili radnja.
Something happening in history,
Nešto se dogodilo u
Work.
povijesti.
an
Neki rad,
action or a deed.
neko djelo.
Now I want to classify the miracles of Christ, group them into different groupings.
Sada ćemo podijeliti ova čudesa, klasificirati ova čudesa u nekoliko kategorija.
The first classification is Jesus did miracles of healing.
I prva kategorija su čudesa ozdravljenja ili izlječenja.
Different people have done different studies of the miracles of Christ.
Dakle, različiti ljudi su su učinili nekako različita
And we'll
istraživanja o tome.
come up with different numbers of how many miracles Jesus did in the four Gospels.
I došli su do različitih brojeva koliko je zapravo čudesa Isus učinio u evanđelju.
Several authors that I respect came up with the number 39.
Dakle, nekolicina autora je došla do broja 39.
Some people say a few less, some people say a few more.
Manje, neki kažu više.
Because the miracle of the star leading the Magi,
Na primjer, čudo zvijezde koja je vodila mage.
did Jesus do that miracle? First you have to decide, is it a miracle? I think so. But then did Jesus do that or not?
Dakle, prvo trebamo odrediti je li to čudo ili ne, a drugo je li to Isus učinio ili ne.
And that will make your number higher or lower.
I to će vaš broj povećati ili smanjiti.
The virgin birth and the resurrection are miracles. Did Jesus do those miracles? Do you count them as a miracle of Jesus? Or were they done to him? Or both?
Dakle, što se tiče bezgrešnog začeća, je li to čudo? To je definitivno čudo, ali je li to Isus učinio ili ne? Ili trojedini Bog zajedno? Što ćemo...
That affects your number.
Dakle, to će utjecati na vaš ukupan broj čudesa. Isusovih čudesa.
Therefore, the number kind of depends on what you include or not.
Dakle, vaš broj će ovisiti o tome što uključujete ili ne u broj.
I used number 39 when I was doing these categories.
I ja koristim broj 39 kada sam kategorizirao čudesa.
Some of the famous miracles of healing, including healing the lame man at the pools of Bethesda.
Dakle, neke od najznačajnijih čudesa ozdravljenja uključuju ozdravljenje čovjeka kod bazena Bethesde
In John 5.
u Ivanu 5.
The healing of the paralytic, where they dug in the roof. I've got a drawing or illustration.
Dakle, ovo je čudo onog nepokretnog čovjeka kojeg su spuštali sa krova.
In Mark chapter 2.
U Marku 2.
The healing of the blind man,
Ozdravljenje slijepca
Bartimaeus,
Bartolomeja
on the road to Jericho.
na Bartimeja, na putu za Jerihom.
Or a different healing of a blind man in John chapter 9,
Ili u Ivanu 9, ozdravljenje drugog slijepca.
where Jesus says, go to the pool of Siloam and wash
Isus
and you'll
kaže
be healed.
idi do bazena Siloama ili Šiloama I operi se.
Malchus' ear was cut off in the garden. Jesus healed him.
Uho vojnika Malka, koje je Isus restaurirao, vratio.
The second category, that's just giving you a little flavor of some of them,
Sljedeća kategorija
is nature miracles. There's a lot less of these in the
čudesa u
Gospels.
prirodi. Njih je dosta manje nego ovih izlječenja.
I forgot to say, excuse me,
Zaboravio sam reći,
back at the
natrag, na
healing miracles,
čudesa izlječenja.
almost half of Jesus's miracles are miracles of healing.
Skoro pola Isusovih čudesa su čudesa uzdravljenja.
47%.
47%.
47%. You already said that. Great. You got it. The nature miracles are a lot less.
Čudesa u prirodi, broj čudesa u prirodi je značajno manji.
A few of them are when Jesus stilled storms, which he did twice in the Gospels.
Dakle, 2 puta Isus smiluje oluju.
One time he was asleep and then stilled the storm.
Jednom je
Asleep in the
spavao,
boat.
pa je onda smirio oluju.
Another one,
Sljedeći put
he was awake and actually walking upon the water.
bio je budan I hodao je po vodi.
And Peter
I Petar
actually says, "Hey Lord, if that's you out there, how about you command me to come out?" And then he starts walking on the water.
I onda Petar kaže Isusu, gospodine, ako si ti, onda učini da I ja dođem po vodi do tebe.
And amazingly, he can do it for a little while.
I za čudo, on to može činiti.
Until he starts looking around at the waves and the sea and he goes down.
Gledati naprijed, natrag, valovlje, oluju.
Christ pulls him up and takes him back
I
into
onda
the
je
boat.
počeo padati I onda ga Isus podiže I vraća natrag u čamac.
That's in Matthew 14.
To je Matej 14, razvali 33.
Feeding of the 4,000, the feeding of the 5,000, I include as nature miracles.
Uključujemo čudesa u prirodi I kada je Isus nahranio 4,000 I 5,000 ljudi.
And the miracle catch of fish, the
I
end of Gospel of John.
na kraju Evanđelja po Ivanu čudo lovljenja ribe, odnosno ulova.
And altogether, there's 28% of his miracles are nature miracles.
28% Gospodinovih čudesa su čudesa u prirodi.
The third category
Treća kategorija
is the miracle over the demonic, casting out demons, control over
čudesa
demons.
nad demonima.
And we looked at this earlier where he heals the demoniac and they say, "You did that by Beelzebub, you did that by Satan."
Jer smo vidjeli ranije kada je obsjednut čovjek došao I kad su mu farizeji rekli, pa ti to radiš po vladaru Beelzebubu.
Matthew chapter 12, we saw that earlier.
Matej 12, vidjeli smo to ranije.
There's also the healing of the demoniac of the Gadarean area.
Dakle, onda imamo obsjednutog iz Genezaretskog kraja.
One story says there's one of them, another author says that there's two, but they're both correct. There was a main crazy guy who's so strong he could break the chains. Nobody would go along that road even.
Dakle, znate priču, to je onaj luđak koji je uzurpirao ljude koji su hodali tom cestom, bio je vezan lancima, nitko se nije usudio hodati tim putem.
The reason I included this illustration is it shows the cave. He lived in these tombs.
Ova ilustracija pokazuje malo I špilju tamo s desne strane jer kaže da je živio u grobnici.
Not normal.
Nije normalno.
Walking around without clothes on, not normal.
Hodati gol okolo nije normalno.
Breaking chains, not normal.
Raskidati lance nije normalno.
This guy's demon possessed and super powerful and super weird.
Ovaj čovjek je sjednut, veoma snažan i veoma čudnovat.
And yet Jesus could totally change him.
Pa ipak Isus ga potpuno može promijeniti.
So that people are amazed that this guy's sitting around normal
Dakle, ljudi su
in his right mind.
kada ga vide da sjedi pri zdravoj pameti.
And I love the end of that story.
I volim kraj priče o ovom sjednutom.
He asked Jesus, can I follow you and just spend time with you? I want to be your disciple and go wherever you will go.
On pita Isusa, mogu li slijediti tebe, mogu li ići za tobom i provesti vrijeme s tobom?
And I like what Jesus says. He says, no,
A što Isus kaže?
wonderful that would be.
Ne, koliko god bi to bilo lijepo,
You go tell people all the things that I've done for you.
idi među ljude i reci im sve što sam učinio.
As a missionary, as a Christian, I like that. That's my job.
Kao misionar, kao kršćanin, volim to jer to je moj posao.
That's your job.
To je tvoj posao.
Go tell people all the wonderful things that God has done for you.
Kaži cijelom svijetu što je Isus učinio.
He's done a lot.
A učinio je mnogo.
He's totally changed your life.
Potpuno je promijenio naš život.
He's done that miracle in each of our lives of changing us.
On je učinio to čudo u svakome od nas kada nas je promijenio.
And the amount of miracles of casting out demons or miracles over demoniacs is 17%.
Samo 17% njegovih čudesa bavi se tim čudesima nad demonima ili opsjednutima.
And the final category,
I posljednja kategorija,
and people who write about miracles and books on miracles, maybe you've never read any, usually use these categories. So I'm kind of following the path that is usually taken with these names.
tipično ljudi koji pišu i istražuju Kristova čudesa koriste ove 4 kategorije. Ovaj posljednji.
And the last one is the raising of the dead.
Uzdizanje mrtvih ili podizanje mrtvog.
And 3 times the Bible names somebody who's raised from the dead.
3 puta Biblija govori o tome da je netko bio podignut od mrtvih.
The widow of Nain's son was being taken to be buried.
Udovičin sin jedne dovice koji su išli pokopati.
Luke 7:11 through 15.
Luka 7:11 do 15.
And Jesus comes up to the body and raises him from the dead.
Isus dolazi gore do samog tijela i onda ga podiže od mrtvih.
Absolutely incredible.
Apsolutno nevjerojatno.
Miraculous.
Čudesno.
Luke 7.
7:11 do 15.
Yeah, 11 to 15. The second is raising Jairus' daughter from the dead.
Sljedeće je Jairova kćer u Luki 7.
That's found in Mark 9:18 through 26.
Marko 9:18 do 26.
I'm sorry, that's Matthew, excuse me. Matthew 9:18
To je
through 26.
Matej 9:18.
Third time we get it right. Excuse me, sorry about that. It is a miracle. Yeah, it's a miracle.
I believe that.
Yeah, I do believe that. Yeah. And the final one that we've mentioned, I think a couple times today,
I posljednje koje smo već nekoliko puta spomenuli,
which is found in John 11,
Ivan 11,
the raising of Lazarus from the dead.
dakle, podizanje Lazara iz mrtvih.
So 8% of his miracles are raising people from the dead.
8% gospodinovih čudesa tiče se podizanja mrtvih.
Now, before I summarize these with a small chart, I want to very briefly talk about
Prije nego što sumiramo sve sa jednom zanimljivom tablicom, želim ukratko govoriti o sljedećem.
Did Jesus do miracles that are not recorded in the gospel?
Je li Isus učinio neka čudesa koja nisu zapisana u Evanđelju?
What do you think? Yes, we have one yes. Any other people say yes? Yes, 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 yes,
Većina.
yes. Esther, what do you think?
Estera, što misliš?
Yes.
Yes. I agree too, yes. Because we just read that Jesus did other miracles that aren't recorded in the Gospels.
Baš smo čitali da je Isus učinio druga čudesa, mnoga čudesa koja nisu zapisana u Evanđelju.
So under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, the authors picked certain ones, but sometimes the Bible says, and he did many other miracles.
Budući da su autori Novog Zaveta i Evanđelja bili nadahnuti i vođeni Svetim Duhom, oni su odabrali, nadahnuti i vođeni Svetim Duhom, koja čudesa trebaju biti zapisana za nas.
But
Ali
the apocryphal Gospels are not trustworthy documents.
apokrifna Evanđelja nisu dokumenti kojima možemo vjerovati.
And they're filled with fanciful and erroneous supposed miracles of Jesus.
I ona su ispunjena izmišljenim pričama o Isusu.
He resurrects his playmate after he kills him.
Na primjer, on je krsnuo
Žena
prije nego ga je ubio.
Yeah.
Prvo ga je
ubio.
Yeah, first he had killed him, and then he raises him from the dead.
Onda ga opet ubio.
Pa šta mu dira njegovo?
Se sjetio da ga nije
Šta mu
nešto
dira
pitao,
njegovo?
pa rekao je Bog.
Or he resurrects the teacher in this one that he struck down.
Ili je podignuo od mrtvih učitelja kojeg je prije.
Or the one right before that, he stretches a board that was too short for carpentry.
Ili je proširio taj...
That was too short. Hey Dad, don't worry about it. I'll make that board a little bit longer. Joseph cut it a little short, you know. That's how he fixes it. Now, how do we know that this is all false?
Kako znamo da je sve ovo laž?
There's a verse in the Bible that helps us.
Postoji stih u Bibliji koji nam pomaže.
I actually mentioned it in the lectures earlier.
Zato sam ga već spomenuo prije u predavanju.
It's not the one I was thinking.
Nije taj koji sam razmišljao.
It's in the book.
All of these supposedly happened before Cana of Galilee. All of these miracles supposedly happened.
Su se navodno dogodila prije dok je bio u Kani.
And what does John tell us about that miracle? What number miracle was it?
Što nam kaže o čudu u Kani Galilejskoj?
That was his first
Da
miracle.
to bilo prvo
changing
čudo
water to
koje
wine.
Isus učinio kada je vodu pretvorio u vino.
So even based on that, we can exclude these fanciful, made-up, humanistic.
Čak i na temelju toga možemo jednostavno izbaciti ove izmišljene priče,
Mythical supposed miracles.
mitološka čuda koja se nisu dogodila.
So Jesus did other miracles, yes.
Isus je učinio druga čudesa,
The Bible says so, but not these apocryphal, fanciful ones.
tako kaže Evanđelje po Ivanu, ali ne ova izmišljena čudesa.
The summary of his miracles, I'll just summarize what we said earlier, piece by piece.
Evo, ukratko ćemo sažeti sve ono što smo govorili o Gospodinovim čudesima sada.
47% of his miracles were healings.
47% njegovih učenja su čudesa izlječenja.
28% of nature.
28% čudesa u prirodi.
Stilling the sea, cursing the tree, making bread.
Dakle, kad je dao kruh, kad je smirio valovlje i oluje, kada je propio smoku,
power over the demoniac, 17%,
čudesa nad demonima 17%
and raising the dead, 8%.
i podizanje mrtvih 8%.
I made up these numbers myself by trying to calculate and stuff. So if you did it, you might have it slightly different. You might include something that I didn't, or vice versa.
Dakle, ja sam došao do ovoga temeljem svojih izračuna. Vi možete učiniti isto i moguće da ćete doći do nekako malo drugačijih brojeva, ovisi što ćete uključiti ili ne.
But still, it gives us an idea that the main emphasis in his miracles was healing.
Ali dolazimo do zaključka da je većina njegovih čudesa bilo izlječenje.
And even in the ministry of Jesus, raising the dead was a small portion.
I čak kada je podizao mrtve, vidimo da je to samo 8%.
Let's talk about the characteristics of Jesus's miracles.
Što su karakteristike Isusovih čudesa?
Number one,
Pod broj 1,
they were done on a great variety of ailments.
one su učinjene u različitim okolnostima.
And this is an interesting contrast compared to the present day supposed healers.
I bolestima. I ovo je u suprotnosti sa današnjim takozvanim čudotvorcima koji hodaju okolo i izlječuju.
They don't have a wide variety often.
Oni često nemaju različite okolnosti i bolesti.
Raising the dead, you never can find somebody that really can be proved. For example.
Nikada niste pronašli nikoga tko može potvrditi da se nekoga podiglo iz mrtvih.
Not only a variety of ailments, but a variety of environments, that last word up there.
Dakle, različitim i bolestima i okolnostima.
Benny Hinn visited Kiev.
Benny Hinn je posjetio Kijev.
I went to his healing ministry
Išao sam vidjeti tu njegovu službu izlječenja.
because I wanted to see it for myself.
Jer sam htio vidjeti sa svojim očima.
They didn't have a big variety of healing.
Nisu imali jednu veliku različitost u izlječenju.
People with no arm, no leg.
Ljudi bez
He didn't heal any of those.
Nikoga od njih nije izlječio.
And the environment was very controlled.
A okolina u kojoj se to dešavalo je bila vrlo, vrlo kontrolirana.
And all the supposed miracle workers, far as my knowledge, always do it in very controlled at the auditorium where we're at, and then they pick who they want. There's a long line of people, and they just pick a few of them that they're confident they can do the miracle with.
I ti takozvani čudotvorci su tipično znali koga trebaju izdvojiti iz publike, možda je vjerojatno neke svoje ljude, da bi falsificirali, lažirali da se nekako čudo dogodilo.
I got to do a short-term missions trip to India.
Jednom sam na kratkom misijskom putovanju išao u Indiju.
And the first time I went to India, I was absolutely just taken aback after getting off the airplane.
I prvi put kada sam išao u Indiju,
The smells were different. The weather felt different on my whole body.
I došao taj jedan val me sav prelio jer vrijeme je bilo drugačije, temperatura je bila drugačija, okolina je bila drugačija.
And within minutes of being out of the airport,
I u jednoj minuti kako sam bio izvan aerodroma,
there was people laying on the sidewalk who were lame.
ljudi koji su hromi su ležali na ulici, na ovom pločniku. Hvala.
I know of no miracle worker, modern day miracle worker,
Znam da ni jedan čudotvorac iz ovoga
who doesn't go to Calcutta, get off the plane and just start walking down the sidewalk healing
ne
everybody.
dođe u Kalkutu i počne svi na sve postavljati ruke i svi su odmah izdravi.
One of the reasons I'm not a charismatic
Jedan razlog
or
zašto
Pentecostal
nisam karizmatik ili pentakostalac
is because what Jesus does and what the apostles does is not what the modern day healer does. They're totally different.
Je zato što ono što je Isus činio i što su apostoli činili i ono što ovi današnji lažni čudotvorci čine je nešto sasvim drugo.
Jesus does all kinds of ailments.
Dakle, Isus je ozdravio različite bolesti.
All kinds of environments.
U različitim okolnostima.
Different than what the supposed miracle workers do
Potpuno
today.
drugačije od ovih današnjih TZV čudotvoraca.
Second, Jesus' miracles were performed openly and publicly in uncontrolled environments.
Sljedeće, njegova čuda su bila učinjena javno, a ne u dvoranama.
This overlaps with number 1. Maybe I need to change this and take it out, but I left it separate.
Ovo se možda i poklapa sa brojem 1, ali možda moram maknuti to.
When you teach it, you can fix that.
Aha.
Dajno, možeš parafrazirati ovaj prvi?
Prvi, učinjena u različitim okolnostima i bolestima.
Okay, let's take our break here. We'll come back and continue to look at the characteristics of Jesus' miracles, and we'll do a little bit more comparing with the modern day healers also as we continue.
Znači idemo na pauzu, onda ćemo se vratiti na ove čudesa i napraviti razliku između ono što danas radi